Hi there, and welcome to another Excuse the Beard, another automotive Excuse the Beard. And today I'm going to be talking about the Hyundai Verna IVT, and more specifically the concept of continuously variable transmissions, CVTs, which are a type of automatic transmission that we are seeing more and more of in many cars. Famously, I think the new Nissan Magnite has it. Of course, Honda's had CVTs for a while, and while Hyundai Kia is quite famous for doing a few dual clutch transmissions on their new cars, all of them also come with these CVTs in their petrol models as well. Almost all the CVTs that Hyundai Kia has available are on naturally aspirated engines and not their turbo engines. And I've had this particular car since the middle of March, so it's been with me through this entire second lockdown, and I've actually driven it a fair bit. I mean, I'm just going to go through 3,615 kilometers. That's primarily because I have done 3 round trips to my in-laws' place, which is in Kanpur. And what is fantastic about the Verna IVT, it's a 1.5 115 PS petrol engine, is its fuel economy. I know highway driving, highways were relatively empty. I kept the car at legally allowed highway speeds, cruise control, and I got over 18.5 kilometers a litre on these trips. I mean, for the 3,616 kilometers since I got the car, it's averaged 16.9 kilometers a litre, even though almost 3,000 kilometers of that has been on highways. But even in the city, this car is fantastically economical. I mean, of course, I've just set out from the house, but I'm going for a meeting right now. I'll probably be back, or I've driven about 15-16 kilometers by the end of it, and I would probably go through just over a litre of fuel, which is fantastic for the city. And it's also fantastic because petrol cost near as makes no difference, 100 rupees even in Delhi right now. I really like this car because of its fuel economy. And we do live in a time where, with increasing petrol prices, fuel economy is becoming a major consideration. The truth of the matter is that Hyundai's DCTs, which are fantastic, and Kia's DCTs as well. They're on the Seltos, they're on the Creta. I love them. I mean, they really want you, to really drive the car. The small turbocharged engines are really, they really encourage you to drive the car a lot. The way a DCT works is basically it has 2 clutches, obviously dual clutch, 1 clutch for odd gears and 1 clutch for even gears. So gear changes are instantaneous. On the IVT, and this IVT has 8 steps, they don't necessarily need to be a step. Now, you've probably seen or heard of CVTs before, used to be on scooters. So the Activa has a CVT, the old Kinetic Honda had a CVT, because there's always a sweet spot of power and nobody ever really guns a scooter. But in an age where you really need good fuel economy, the CVT works best. Now, the way the CVT works is there are no discrete gears, there are no toothed gears going into each other. You actually have a chain belt, or a rubber band in some cases in scooters, a chain belt connecting the engine shaft to the gear shaft. And that chain is of course changed depending on the amount of speed. It adjusts, and you can see in this short animation that Hyundai USA did. So the other thing that happens over here as a result of this chain, because there are no discrete gears in a matter of speaking, the gear shifts are superbly smooth. And even in an automatic, even in a dual clutch, even in a standard torque converter automatic, no matter how smooth they've become, there is a little bit of shift shock because the there is a slight disengaging between the engine and the drive shaft. So I'm really impressed with this car. And the thing with CVTs, and you have to understand the one thing about CVTs, if there is a negative, is that CVTs aren't really designed for the higher end of the power band. Now, if you really gun a CVT, if you're really like kicking the accelerator, and I'm driving in the city, so I don't want to break the speed limit, so, but if you really want to drive aggressively with the CVT, you'll notice that the power keeps on going up and down, because that's called the rubber band effect on a CVT, because it's constantly trying to get the right amount of power. But if you drive at cruising speeds in a city, whether it's 50 or 60 in Delhi, whatever the limit is, 70 in some places, or on the highway where the limits are 90, 100 or 120 on newer roads such as the peripheral expressways around the capital, you don't really need to, you genuinely feel you don't need the huge amounts of power. You genuinely, the car has enough to accelerate well. I'm very often driving with my baby strapped in his baby seat at the back, so I don't want to drive super aggressively. Fabulous fuel economy, and something I've really grown to appreciate in this car. It comes loaded with all the features. I've still got the digital display that Hyundai gives on the new Verna, Apple CarPlay on my infotainment screen. Rear legroom is not the Verna's strong point, but this CVT is genuinely, I think, you know, we hear a lot about the dual clutch transmissions from Hyundai Kia, but this IVT or CVT, whatever you want to call it, is, I think, possibly the better engine, possibly the better engine transmission choice for when you buy a Hyundai Kia. Thanks for watching, and do subscribe for more videos from Excuse the Beard with me, Kushal Mitra.